Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Torah in 10, your weekly dose of Torah and context in 10 minutes or less. I'm Renan Cortez, and we're going to be covering Chukat Balak, which is numbers 19:1 to 25:9. Let's get started. Portion recap. Chukat Balak is about hope when all else fails. Considering not only that this is a double portion, but also the numerous major events that transpire within these chapters, wanted to focus primarily on an interesting theme that is apparent throughout these parts of the Exodus experience and act as a great through line for the events and fantastic bookends. With the commandments regarding the red heifer ritual, this in of itself can make for a massive teaching with far-reaching implications not only to Yeshua, the Messiah, but also to the millennial reign itself. But I digress. The advent of the passing of Miriam presents what some consider to be a crescendo of the events so far for Moses and Aaron, who have dealt with the children of Israel and their constant rebellion and grumbling against their leadership. We see the breaking point for Moses at this late stage with a commandment given by God to speak to the rock through which water was to be provided, to resume its function and to testify to Israel that Hashem is their master. However, with Moses losing his temper and striking the rock twice, we learn that both he and Aaron will not be entering the land of Israel because they themselves did not believe and have faith. In verses 23 through 29 of chapter 20, we learn that Aaron will soon die and the authority of high priest must be passed on to his son Eleazar. Then the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron at Mount Hor by the border of the land of Edom, saying, Aaron will be gathered to his people, for he shall not enter the land which I have given to the sons of Israel, because you rebelled against my command at the waters of Meribah. Take Aaron and his son Eleazar, and bring them up to Mount Hor, and strip Aaron of his garments, and put them on his son Eleazar. So Aaron will be gathered to his people, and he will die. So Moses did just as the Lord had commanded, and they went up to Mount Hor in the sight of all the congregation. After Moses had stripped Aaron of his garments and put them on his son Eleazar, Aaron died there on the mountaintop. Then Moses and Eleazar came down from the mountain. When all the congregation saw that Aaron had died, all the house of Israel wept for Aaron 30 days. We can see not only a transference of power, but also a raising of status, honor, and an example of the use of a holy mountain to establish a sacred exchange of office. As Israel continues their journey and takes the lands of Arad, we see a brief episode of rebellion causing a plague of venomous serpents, or fiery serpents, to run rampant throughout the camp. In verses 6 through 8 of chapter 21, we encounter a symbol used to miraculously heal those bitten, created by Moses on the command of Hashem, which can still be seen as a mark of healing through the medical industry today. After this incident, the people of Israel continue on and travel through Moab, furthering their conquest by defeating Sihon, king of the Amorites, and Og, the king of Bashan. Bear in mind that as Israel keeps up their destruction of these pagan kingdoms, they are also drawing the attention of other city-states and petty kingdoms as well, within Canaan and the surrounding regions. Specifically within this portion, Israel strikes fear into Balak, king of Moab. And out of Balak's fear and desperation for a solution for what seems like the unstoppable force of Israel with the one true God of creation dwelling in their midst, he summons forth Balaam, a sorcerer and prophet for hire. In an incredibly rare instance, we see Hashem speak to and use this pagan diviner to show his authority and act as a royal messenger to Balak, delivering the message that none can curse Israel and that there is no magic or sorcery that can affect them. The children of Israel have been sealed and are bound to Adonai, the creator of heaven and earth, for all time. This message is delivered 3 separate times as Balak brings Balaam to 3 different high places, again showing the significance of mountains and high points to the people of this age. And after 7 bulls and 7 rams are offered at these 7 altars, built at each of the sites, the message that Balaam receives is the same, a command to bless Israel and deliver dire warnings to any who would dare curse them. Thwarted in their attempts, both Balaam and Balak depart, but soon after we see the true weakness that presents itself again and again throughout the scriptures. The children of Israel are swayed to follow after the gods of the Moabites when their women begin to entice them. They defile themselves with sacrificial meals, the bowing down to idols, and are stated to have yoked themselves to Baal of Peor. In this final part of the portion, in chapter 25, verses 4 through 9, we see the extent that Moses must go to weed out the people causing the issue, and it is not until Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, of the line of Aaron performed a zealous act of righteousness. The plague affecting the camp is fully stopped. The Lord said to Moses, "Take all the leaders of the people and execute them in broad daylight before the Lord, so that the fierce anger of the Lord may turn away from Israel." So Moses said to the judges of Israel, "Each of you slay his men who have joined themselves to Baal of Peor." Then behold, one of the sons of Israel came and brought to his relatives a Midianite woman, in the sight of Moses and in the sight of all the congregation of the sons of Israel, while they were weeping at the doorway of the tent of meeting. When Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he arose from the midst of the congregation and took a spear in his hand. And he went after the man of Israel into the tent and pierced both of them, man of Israel and the woman, through the body. So the plague on the sons of Israel was checked. Those who died by the plague were 24,000. We can recognize the cycle of Israel's defilement and the sin being repeated. We also see the pattern of the righteous who were prepared for what is needed to stand for Hashem, his name, and his law. Within the events of Chukat Balak, ordinances of the red heifer are given. Miriam passes away, causing the people to contend with Moses and Aaron for water. After being commanded to speak to the rock, Moses strikes it twice instead. Water is given to the people, but Moses and Aaron are not allowed to enter the land for their lack of belief in God. Israel attempts to treat with the Edomites to pass through their land, but are refused. Aaron dies on Mount Hor after passing his authority of office to his son Eleazar in front of all of Israel. Israel conquers Arad. After the people speak against God and Moses about the manna from heaven, a plague of serpents infects the camp. Moses is instructed to create a bronze serpent to save any who are bitten and look upon it. Israel defeats King Sihon and King Og in battle and begin to live in the land of the Amorites. Balak, king of the Moabites, sends for Balaam to help him curse Israel to stop their conquests. Balaam is used as a royal messenger by God to deliver blessings to Israel and prophesies destruction for all the nations that come against God's chosen people. Following the failure of Balak, the Israelites begin to defile themselves with the daughters of Moab and start to worship Baal of Peor. The leaders responsible are executed, and Phinehas shows his loyalty through the righteous act of slaying an Israelite man who brought in a Midianite woman and stopped the plague affecting the camp. Did you know the way that Israel attempts to entreat Edom for safe passage follows the standard method of diplomatic communications between kingdoms in the ancient Near East? Chapter 20, verse 19 refers to Israel going by the main road or highway through Edom. This is in reference to the established trade route used by militaries, kings, and trade caravans, otherwise referred to as the King's Highway. In the ancient Near East, instances of animals speaking to people like Balaam's donkey were associated with warnings or messages from the gods and taught important lessons. Question time. Why did Hashem choose a heifer specifically? The high places that Balak and Balaam stood to attempt to curse Israel were dedicated to what God? How many people died from the plague after the Israelites defiled themselves in chapter 25? Happy studying and Shabbat Shalom.